Welcome to Main Street Minds with your host, Amish Munshi. This is where industry leaders and seasoned pros share their secrets to success beyond limits. Let's dive in.
Hello and welcome to Main Street Minds. This is where we get to learn all different possible successful career options in tech. And today we have a very special guest, Siddharth, with us all the way from Virginia, who is very successful at what he's doing and reached all the way to a CTO level. So thanks, Siddharth, for joining today and sharing your experience.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's great to be on. I've seen a couple of your podcasts; they're awesome. Great, and I'm here to help.
Yeah, thanks. So tell us what got you started in the industry.
It was just natural to me. Like as a kid, I saw a computer for the first time in, I guess, mid '80s, and I started my first thing in like basic, and I'm like, okay, I can do stuff. I can make thing do stuff for me, and that's how it started. But yeah, and then my career started after I came to the US. So I got my master's degree at UVA in computer science in a long time ago, 2002. So that's almost 25 years ago. And so since then, I've been a software engineer. And my career started with startups. So I was lucky that when I first started, I joined this place called the Medical Automation Research Center at the university. And what they did was they kept forming different startups out of the research that they were doing. Okay. So one of the biggest pieces of research I was doing was monitoring old people at home without cameras or without audio, like a private, like just to see, like, are they okay? Are they doing their own things? Have they fallen in their house? Yeah. We're doing this without them having to wear anything. So everything was with environmental sensors. And so that was the first startup that I was a part of.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And that lasted for a few years. And so the startup spun off from UVA, but because of immigration issues and things, I couldn't join the startup. So I stayed back at UVA. Mm-hmm. I worked at the university for, 12, 13 years. But then the whole startup thing got me. I'm like, okay, I need to go back to the startup world. Like, I can't do this.
Yeah. The first job is always very special, right?
Yeah.
It practically sets the whole career path for most people.
It does. And it tells you, like, it basically told me, like, where is my happy space, right? Like, my happy space is doing a lot of things because I was not designed to be I will just like code, I'll just be a software engineer. I want to be involved in everything. I want to do something from the ground up. That's what I wanted to do. And you only do that at startups. So after I left UVA, I joined a travel startup for a little bit, but then that didn't work out. So then I joined a fintech startup, and that was really fun. So and me, I don't know, my last name is Dalal, and for the audience who might not know, Dalal means stockbroker. And it's like, okay, so finance is basically in my last name. So I'm like, okay. So I joined a fintech startup. And then that was where I had the most fun. So I built this product, which was being used by large banks all over the world. And I was supporting like a whole global network of banks from Japan to USA who were using the product that I helped build from the ground up. So that was the most fun experience I've had. A startup. And I grew my team from being just me to three of us to 20 to being global and offshore. So even before COVID started, my team was everywhere. Like I had people in China and Cyprus and London and so that was a fun experience. And after that, I'm like, okay, now I have to be in startups. So after the fintech startup, I joined an AI startup. Then I worked with a consulting firm for a little bit. And now after that, I realized that what I'm good at is helping tiny startups solve problems. Mm-hmm. So I started a fractional CTO business on the side while I was working full time. So where a few hours a week, I will help these little startups that are just getting the product off the ground, or like non-technical founders who don't know where to start building a product. So I'll help them out like just a few hours a week, help them find a team, sometimes offshore, sometimes onshore, then help them figure out, like, am I doing the right thing? Mm-hmm. It happened to me a few times where I joined this company and I go in there and they have this really all-star engineer team. And everyone on the team is a fantastic performer, but the product is not launching, like, for some reason. So when I realized that I can solve that problem for them, I can help them figure out, like, what is the difference between like building this giant thing and then getting it out in the market. And so then I can help smaller startups achieve their goals for lower budgets, either by finding stuff offshore or building the simplest thing that they can build. And so that's where I'm now. So I'm a fractional CTO for 2 startups. And then I think a year and a half ago, my son, who's a teenager, he got into finance too. And so, I mean, he's in 10th grade now, but he got interested in the stock market and options trading and stuff. So he's like, oh, I want to do something about this. So he started writing some code and his code started working. And so together we formed a company called BrokerBotics. So initially we started out as a trading company, but then we realized that most people who were joining didn't understand anything about trading. So we stopped that piece of it, and then we moved it into an AI investment research platform. And just launched that, our first MVP last month of it.
Sweet. So tell us what's involved. Like I always assume there's going to be like some very heavy investment needed to get access to the data, get access to the systems, being able to actually do the trade. Were you able to repurpose an actual trading platform that can do real trades into?
So for a while we were doing real trades. I mean, some of that stuff still exists, but we pivoted away from actual trading into research. But yeah, we had a fully functioning options trading platform. And luckily for us, the brokerages that we worked with, they gave us all the data. So we used the data from them to place the trade. So that wasn't a problem. We're running into the data problem you're talking about now. Like, so now with BrokerBotics, since you're an investment research platform, you need a lot of data. Like the whole idea is that the one piece of what we're building is like, if you think of Yahoo Finance and you just can talk to Yahoo Finance in natural language, right? You want to go to Yahoo Finance and ask it like, hey, give me small cap companies that are profitable and I had high trading volume in the last week. And go to Yahoo Finance, you want to find this. I don't know, you go to the screener page, there's like 400 checkboxes, you find the checkboxes, go there, you click yes, and maybe you get what you want. With the products, you can just ask it like, hey, give me companies between 10 and 20 billion, which are profitable, which had trading volume over X in the last week, and it'll just give that to you. So yeah, getting the data for that has been a challenge. Some of it, yes, we get from the web. Some of it, we get it from other fintech partners. But a lot of the things we're now planning on having our own data source. Because it's not that you can't get some data, it's that a lot of data is inaccurate. Like if you look at, so we have a data source, for example, for fund holdings. So if I want to get mutual fund holdings, so we pay for a data source, it gives us mutual fund holdings. But it's highly inaccurate because they haven't gone through the effort of making sure that everything is accurate. Are the symbols I'm giving back accurate? Is the symbol actually correct? Because when companies file with the SEC, they just file any sort of trash and they spill garbage in half the fields. So we started building our own data collection source, which is more accurate, because if you train AI on bad stuff, you're going to get bad stuff out. And so we want our AI to be more accurate than just asking ChatGPT or something else. That's our next year, basically, is making sure our platform's accurate and also, of course, growing the user base.
So it's would you still call this mostly based on technical research, like kind of technical analysis research, or do you also?
It's more fundamental. It's more fundamental than technical. Like, we don't deal with technical indicators and stuff, but we do have all the fundamentals, like the financials of the company, things like that. Screening those fundamentals.
I think what I was thinking is like, so it's based on mostly the company data, or is it also like some geopolitical differences, the data related to unemployment, data related to kind of treasury yields, or like all these other metrics that come in? Like, are you integrating into all of it?
We do want to. So we do integrate with some of that stuff again, and the way we've designed the system is that we can add any data source to it when we want. So so right now we have historical data, and we have some real-time data, and we also, the more interesting part of it is not that all that data, because that data's there, we can get it, we can plug it in. But the more interesting piece of it is that we can connect to people's portfolios. So you can come in, connect your brokerage accounts, and now you can start asking questions about your own portfolio. And then it can use all our data connected to your portfolio and then answer questions. So for example, me as an options trader, I want to know stuff on my portfolio about options. Like, hey, like what's going on? Like what stocks do I have on which I can trade options? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
weekly options. Tell me which ones have high options volume. Tell me which like so those kinds of questions I can start asking about my own portfolio and start and then start digging deeper. Like how
Mm-hmm.
much crypto do I have? So and then once I connect all my brokerage accounts, like if you look at current brokerage account aggregators, like you can see the information like this, these are my holdings. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what is that doesn't give you the information you need about holdings. And you
Yeah.
can see some canned reports about like, oh, this much of your portfolio is mid cap, this much is large cap or whatever. But yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that like okay, that doesn't mean anything to
Yeah.
me. Like what does this mean for me? You can ask it questions like, hey, if Trump imposes tariffs, then what's going to happen to my portfolio? Like
Yeah.
which holdings do I have are most at risk from
Mm-hmm.
X or Y? And the
Mm-hmm.
way it works is it will get your portfolio, it will go search the web for like, okay, what kind of impact do tariffs have? We'll combine your portfolio data with that data, run a second layer of analysis on it, and then give you back a response saying, okay, this is what you're holding. These are the sectors that your holdings are in. And this is the impact that you might have from
Mm-hmm.
interest rates going up or tariffs or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And just taking a little step back from the business and the functional aspect to a little bit of the technology, how easy is it to get an LLM model to use the latest data? Like, can it have a stream of a data that's constantly being updated and it's like analyzing the latest info?
Yeah, so LLMs have come a long way now. So the idea is that so we use several techniques to do this, to make this happen. First technique is our LLM needs to search our database. So we need to train it on that. So we fine tune it to train to that. The second thing is it needs to fetch data in real time. And so now LLMs are tool calling. So we every time we have a new data source which it needs to query real time, we just make it call that tool. And then what we do is we combine all that stuff together, send it back to
Mhm.
another LLM, and that will process all the data together and give you back a response based on all the stuff that the previous LLMs got for it.
Cool, cool. Sounds really very interesting. So, is this kind of what is your target audience? Like, is it mostly individuals or like more of larger businesses?
So for the time being, our target is individual investors,
Mm-hmm.
but we are trying to research brokerages and financial advisors to see whether some of this could apply to them.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if you've heard, there's a new brokerage called Magnify, and they
Mm-hmm.
essentially do kind of the stuff that we do with AI for their
Yeah.
brokerage companies.
Okay.
And if one brokerage is doing it, it means that the other brokerages need to catch up. And
Yeah.
so as soon as Magnify came out, that Public is another new brokerage, and they built these AI tools similar to Magnify for themselves.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at every other big brokerage out there, they either don't have the resources or it's too slow for a large corporation to build this. So our hope is that over the next few months, as people start realizing that we need this kind of information for our customers, we might have some B2B clients. But yeah, for
Yeah.
the time being, we're targeting the individual, but we have hopes that we will have a robust enough product to integrate with some
Nice.
larger B2B clients.
Yeah, that is amazing. So, just going back a little bit on the transition away from a trading desk to more a trading platform, more to the research and analysis. Like, do you see an overlap, like having one single integrated platform where the trading might be integrated with the analysis?
Yeah, we do, and we do, but we see that as our sort of medium term future, not short
Hmm.
term. Because once we have the analysis, then we can do more kinds of trades based on the AI than we did before. Like
Hmm.
previously, our trades weren't based on any sort of AI; they were just sort of math based trades or like time based trades,
Yeah.
and they weren't, and they were sort of fixed. Like we ran 5 strategies. I mean, you could only do those 5 strategies. But if we build this whole AI research analytics platform, now we could run any strategy that a user wants. Like, for example, if you've seen, there's this brokerage called N1, which offers these thing called pies, which is like auto rebalancing, auto tax harvesting
Hmm.
portfolios. Now, if we build an AI sort of overarching portfolio viewer, then we could build all those things for them in the future too. Like we can build all those things out. Like, hey, you could balance across your brokerages which is
Mhm.
impossible currently. Like which
Yeah.
right now is yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very interesting. So yeah, so tell us some of the challenges, how what was it like to develop something from scratch? I think all the experience you had with multiple startups, I'm sure that was very helpful. But in addition to that, like, were there any other challenges that you saw?
Oh yeah, I have two challenges right now, right? So the first challenge is my co-founder is my son. He's
Yeah.
been so and he's doing the CEO type of stuff. I'm building the stuff, but
Okay.
that also means that someone needs to sell this.
Yeah.
And with him in school, there's that we have that giant gap. And and so that brings me to the second gap. Like all the companies that I work for, I've worked for as like an engineering leader in the last 10 years. So I can build things and I can hire the teams to build the things. But
Mhm.
someone else is doing all the selling and all the marketing and all the sales.
Yeah.
That's a huge gap we need to fill,
Hmm.
which for which either we have to like somehow get my son to do it or find someone to do it or fundraise and hire someone to do it. And that's something which is a new area to me. And so
Hmm.
that also part of the fun of having a startup is that you
Yeah.
learn all that stuff as you go
Yeah.
along. Yeah.
Yeah, there is always just within the technology, there is like a functional and the technical aspect, but within the organization also there is like so many different hats that someone needs to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you like looking to kind of expand and make this a little more formal, get some more investments into this?
Yeah, we're looking. So we'll start looking for funding now. So we'll start raising at some point this year. We want to prove initial traction. So first,
Mhm.
our first goal is to let's get 100, 200 people using it, get feedback
Mhm.
from them, and then see what exactly do they want. Like what kind of questions are people asking the AI? Like,
Yeah.
what do they want to know? Like, what are people asking? And is
Mhm.
it, are we getting the kind of people who's like, I don't know anything about money, just tell me, like, how do I make a portfolio? Or are we getting the people who are like, oh, here's my portfolio and I'm doing XYZ. Am I on track for retirement? Like,
Yeah.
who are the people who are joining? And
Yeah.
what are they looking for in from the AI? And then and then once we have a little bit of traction, then we'll
Mhm.
start, raising money.
Makes sense. Yeah. So I think in the world there will always be all different kinds of people. I think it will depend on um, like where you want to take the software, like how sophisticated investor do you want. I think the largest market is always people that want to invest their own money, but they understand things, but they don't have the time or resources to do it all, right? So I think that's where the largest market will be.
Yeah, and so I've been using BrokerBotics personally to to do stuff like find my next investment. Now, I
Hmm.
won't say I'm a very sophisticated investor, but I'm a reasonably sophisticated investor. I understand. I can read financials. I understand stuff. I know I pick stocks and invest in stocks, trade. So, but my biggest thing is like, how do I find that next thing that I'm looking for? And
Hmm.
so a lot of the fine tuning we've done is to answer those kinds of questions. And
Hmm.
then we will start fine tuning to answer other kinds of questions too. So,
Hmm. Nice. Yeah. So tell us more about what does the day to day look like? Like, is it still a lot of hands-on development or?
so I'd say 50-50 hands-on development and other business stuff. So
Mhm.
next week we have to go for a conference, then we have to like keep our social media going, we have to
Yeah.
keep our website updated, that kind of non-development things. And we actually have another friend of mine who's helping us build the software. So he's working with us maybe a day a week or so, helping build
Hmm.
the thing. And also then there's my part-time fractional CPO stuff. So I spend about 2 hours in the morning with all my fractional CPO stuff, and then the rest of the 6-7 hours of the day on BrokerBotics. So
Okay.
essentially, I'm full-time BrokerBotics and part-time for the other two.
Yeah. Yeah. And it might be a little challenging, right? Like trying to like juggle so many things.
Yeah, yeah. So I only do the develop. I only do actual development for BrokerBotics. I'm not in the code, like deep in code in the other startups. So which
Yeah,
helps.
which helps. Cool. So, what are some of the things that get you excited in like within your career? Like right now, after reaching this level of success, what are some of the things that you are most interested in now?
You know, so right now, like like the thing. So I'm a technology person at heart, right? So the most interesting things are the things that are happening now. Like one of the startups I joined recently, so I can say recently, but it's been more than 2 years. They built their entire MVP with no code. And this was the
Mhm.
first time that I saw someone build something with no code in action. This was even before any like AI or anything. It's like, and I was like, okay, so, and that's been maturing a lot. And then
Mhm.
over the last year, I've started seeing and using myself AI to build stuff. Like I can ask it, like, hey, look, I have this giant code base, and go fix this little thing over here, go make this little thing, and it just does it.
Nice.
And and so the things that are exciting me most is like, where is this going? Like how much is this going to improve the efficiency of developers, and what kind of tools is it going to put in the hands of people
Mhm.
who are not developers and who are not like technology savvy, and
Mhm.
like how much can they do without having to get someone.
Yeah.
And and so which also brings us to fractional stuff. Like now, does a company ever even need a full-time person until they become sort of 100% company? Is
Mhm.
they just work with like fractional executives and just have full-time people who are doing the work? And how does
Mhm.
that model work? It's been those are the kinds of things I think of now. It's like, okay, well, what does a company really need? And so I'm connected into our local startup community here, and I'm hoping that with what I learn, I can help any like all these little startups that are working around here get to a point where they're comfortable, like, yes, I can build this.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense.
I've gone to many meetings where there are people who are like, I want to start this and I want to build this, and where do I start? Like, how do I do this? And
Mhm.
in today's world, like that shouldn't be a problem. Like you find someone anywhere, you can go to Upwork or Fiverr or whatever, find someone and just get started.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
even if you don't have any money, like when we first started BrokerBotics, so we wanted to do this on zero budget. I hired people from Fiverr and Upwork to do a lot of things for me, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, yeah, that's really very interesting because a couple of small things that I've tried to do is like writing some modules, but I always end up seeing like a huge big bill for just the software development, and I'm like, I'm just going to use something that's off the shelf, that's ready, plug and play, subscription based. Try it out. If it works, if it doesn't work, then I move on to the next one. But there is just so much power to develop something that's completely custom that addresses the actual issue that we are trying to do. So yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you and like learn more about like what's the secret of getting right people on Fiverr.
Well, I'm assuming you're from India.
Yeah,
I mean, like the whole of Upwork is filled with people from India. As long as you can communicate with them, I think you'll
yeah,
find the people on there.
yeah,
That that's been one of the big things I learned. It's like if I can get people from India because I can talk to them in their language
yeah,
and make stuff for me. And maybe the founder here or whoever here doesn't need to understand what we're doing as long
yeah.
as I can gate between the two groups.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like I've just having some of these concepts and ideas in my mind, and then I put it out there and say But what I end up seeing is most of the times it's oh, it's going to be 6 month project with like 3 people needed for it, and I'm like, I don't think that's what I want. Like something that works, I can show it on a screen. If it makes sense to people, then we actually do the full engineering and development.
And no code is almost there. Like I think the no
Yeah.
code solutions are almost there where they can do that for you, where you can build a proof of concept.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would love to see some of that. And is your platform available right now? Like, is that can we like go and like subscribe to it?
Oh yeah, BrokerBotics is yeah. We launched our MVP last month, so you can
Great.
yeah, you can sign up. We have about 10-ish brokerages you can connect to right now, with a goal to get all US brokerages in this year.
Oh wow, nice. Yeah. So yeah, I'll definitely give that a try. And like I don't have a huge big stock portfolio, but I would love to like do take care of it and like review things the way what is working and what is not working.
Yeah, the fellow's helping us, David. He's super excited about getting people's non-stock portfolios. Like that's stored somewhere. Like
Oh
people
yeah,
manage their things somewhere. Like people might buy real estate, or they might use Acre Trader or whatever else, or even if they have only real estate which is not managed anywhere, it's on Zillow. And
yeah,
so if we can hook in all of this stuff and give people a picture that they can't see anywhere else, that would be
yeah.
awesome. And yes. Yes, first
Yeah,
let's get their financial stuff in, and then we'll get all the other stuff in.
yeah, I had done like a small little attempted startup. I would say just an idea sitting in my mind before I did something was creating a global net worth review, right? Like we have Mint and a few other things for like personal finances, but it's limited to US. But if and it would be limited to assets that were like accessible through APIs, right? Like real estate was very difficult in there. Having investments across the globe, like across different countries, and then managing and reviewing the exchange rate changes of all of it, and like saying, okay, what was my real total return on that investment over 5 years? Like that's a view that I don't think it currently. I've not seen a solution that's able to do that.
Yeah, and that is a hard problem, right? Mostly because of all the regulations everywhere. So um, last year we were at a fintech conference in India called Money Expo, and
Mm-hmm.
you can see that India is really so different from the US in how financial regulations and things work that
Yeah.
it's like getting that kind of cross-border view into finances is still some time away.
Yeah, and then even the historical exchange rates, right? Saying if we are able to like create a projection of where, I mean, it's just a speculation, obviously, but where the exchange rate might be, like if we are able to like project that, saying, hey, I think Indian exchange rate is going to be 10% better over the next 10 years. Will what is a better investment then? That it completely changes the whole equation.
Yeah, and is the government trying to devalue the dollar right now? If they are, then should you switch to euros or something? And for how long? Or is it just a hoax on us that he's trying to do this temporarily and then just yeah.
Yeah, sounds great. So yeah, going forward, where do you see the next innovation happening, and like what are some of the things that you are seeing in the industry that will have a major impact?
Yeah, and like I feel like across the board, like the access to build AI agents is going to give everyone a lot of things. I mean, it doesn't matter with fintech, even with other industries. Like so, the one of the other startups I work with is Taste Supply, right? And what they do is they're helping specialty food makers get their food out and sell them online, just like Etsy did for arts and crafts. They're trying to
Hmm.
do for specialty food makers. And even if you look at them, there's all this missing information, right? So they like a small specialty food maker, they'll they'll put the stuff in the bottles, they'll put the ingredients on them, and then they'll take like a picture, put it up on Shopify, and try to sell it.
Yeah,
There's no nutritional information. There's none of that stuff. You don't know how to categorize that food, how to classify that food, none of those things. And now we have a way to take any kind of unstructured data, make it structured with just one call to some API somewhere, and so that I feel like the kind of problem you're talking about, like, oh, the whole world's data is out there, like whether it's financial data or any other data, it's all unstructured, all there. And previously, yes, Google was indexing all this stuff, but that's
hmm,
still all unstructured. But like once we start converting all that unstructured data simply into structured data, I think
hmm,
a lot of new use cases will be open
hmm,
for things.
yeah,
And the same, I'm seeing the same thing. So the third startup I work for is a wedding startup, and the same thing there. Like there's all these small wedding vendors, like venues and vendors across the country. They have websites. They are working on things, but there's sort of not a simple way for them to get their information across. I mean,
hmm,
uh, so recently I was on vacation, and you go and you look at like look. I want to eat at some place. Look for restaurants on Google Maps. So Google Maps will find you a restaurant. You can read some reviews, and
hmm,
then like, show me the menu. But the menu is like people have clicked pictures of the menu, and so now I have to go look at that. Now, if you think of that unstructured data, but what I can do now is I took that menu, I pasted the menu to ChatGPT, and told it give me just write this menu down for me. And if the
yeah,
menu is in another language, I can still paste it into ChatGPT and say, hey, this menu is in Japanese or whatever. But I would do it in Croatian, so the menu was in Croatian. And so people like, give me this in English, and it can do that. And
hmm,
so the opportunity of taking all the world's sort of data in any format and converting it into any format when you need it, as you need it, and searching
yeah.
for it in real time, it's like those possibilities are awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, do you see any kind of a hybrid between the generative AI portion of it and just the ability to like understand what's there? Like, uh, is there? How do you ensure like there's things that don't overlap, right? The AI should not end up putting their own thought process into something. Where on one side we want it to be intelligent enough to like understand and
Yeah,
comprehend, but on the
yeah,
flip side, we don't want it to be wrong.
yeah. It's a hard problem, right? Like, if you think of it in terms of people, it's the same problem people
Yeah,
have. I mean, after all, it's sort of trying to mimic us, right? It's trying to mimic a
yeah,
large brain. You give a large brain a bunch of information, and you expect some kind of response out of a large brain. And our brain is as bad or worse than AI. And but yeah, there's new techniques coming up for which you can tell what LLMs are telling the truth or not. So in our case with BrokerBotics, we're using two LLMs, one
Mhm,
to check each other. But Google's APIs just introduced this new concept called grounding. I
mhm,
mean, all the LLMs do it, but they are not making it available for everyone to use easily. But
mhm,
Google just did, and so what it does is when you get an LLM answer from an LLM, you can ask it like, give me a grounded answer. So then it will go and make a search and then see that whether the answer it got has potential references or not. I mean,
mhm,
even with this, it's currently not in a state where it's perfect, but it's better, and it's only going to get even better. And
mhm.
I was chatting with a friend of mine who lives here in Richmond, and we were talking about accuracy of news, and like this is not AI. This is people are writing this stuff, and
Yeah,
a lot of it is not accurate. So how do you know what's accurate or not accurate? And how do you know when it's trying to mislead you versus not mislead you? Like how do you
yeah,
extract the facts out of the news and the opinion out of the news? Like how do you split that? And we were thinking of, can we build an LLM that will do this? Like, hey, give this to the LLM, say, hey, extract the facts out of this. Once you extract the facts, can you go check these facts for me? And then you extract the opinion. Can you give me what bias this opinion has? Is it left leaning, right leaning? And
yeah,
and these kinds of things are like now available to us. So it is coming where the things will become better. They will be able to extract facts, verify them, extract opinions, and determine what kind of opinion it is. So it's
yeah.
coming. It's technology. It's how you use it. I mean, we could use it badly or we could use it well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very well said. Like I think that's the important part, right? Like the scope is increasing, what technology is able to do is increasing. And now we might be entering a little more of a fuzzy world rather than the discrete world that we have been expecting computers to do. So we have to, I think people will also have to evolve saying, hey, just because the computer is telling me something, maybe the 2 plus 2 that it's saying it may not be the 5.
Yeah, yeah. Like the how many hours in strawberry, right? Like LLMs don't know that.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds great. So yeah, just as we are about to kind of conclude this episode, like, are there some of the secrets that you would like to share to make somebody successful in the tech industry?
So I'll say one thing. Just build the simplest thing when you're building anything.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that I've seen companies do all the time is build the perfect thing. Don't build the perfect thing. Build the smallest thing that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, is it more of an incremental approach of doing things, or is it more saying, hey, let's the beauty lies in simplicity and like keeping it.
So yeah, so both. So utilize and simplicity, build the simplest thing. But what happens a lot of time is, you hear all these sayings. It's like measure 3 times, cut once kind of thing. Like plan a lot before you do
Yeah.
anything. And and a lot of companies get into this, or teams get into this thing of we will plan this so much and we will plan around everything and we'll think of every edge case, and then you're too late and you're building something that's too big.
Yeah.
So yeah, so my advice is like don't overthink it when you're starting from scratch. Like if it's an already existing product which is big already, that's different. When you're building something new, don't overthink it.
Yeah, that's a very big secret. So I think many times I think I might have fallen to that same trap saying, hey, I need to develop the system that's able to handle everything. And then my project just becomes so big, I'm like, I don't even want to do this.
Yeah, like what the like they supply the CEO when I joined, like if 100,000 people come to my website at the same time, then will it work? I'm like, how about let's
Yeah,
let's get 10 people on it and see if they're actually buying something before we build
yeah.
a $100,000 infrastructure for handling 100,000 people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and the scale can, there is always a solution for scale. So, we can like add resources, split up the systems into multiple instances or something.
Yeah, the cloud has made it easy and microservices made it easy. You just build the smallest little microservice you want. The other thing, just build an independent microservice.
Yeah,
Eventually, you'll get tired of microservices and say, I want to build a monolith. That's fine. Just start with the smallest thing, build
yeah,
it, put it out there. Yeah.
makes sense. Cool. Sounds perfect. So, thanks for coming on this show. What's the best way somebody can reach you?
You can reach me on LinkedIn, or you can reach me at BrokerBotics at SIDD at BrokerBotics.com.
Okay.
And I have a website, s1dd.com. Also, s1dd at s1dd.com comes to me also.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah, I'll include those references in the description.
Oh, and last thing, read my book.
Oh yeah, tell us more about that.
So when COVID started, I wrote a novel, and
Mhm.
it's a tech ghost thriller. So it's a technology thriller with ghosts. So it's called The
Interesting. Yeah.
Beginning of My End. Yeah,
The beginning of my end. It's on Amazon.
it's on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that will be cool. I'll definitely go ahead and take a look at that.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
That is very, very, very interesting. So I think I didn't realize you write a novel as well. That's a very extreme skill to have, like being able to like be the technical person, like with the computers, and still have uh, a little more of a academic or a kind of linguistic part to you.
Yeah, it was a fun challenge in COVID, which was it saved me from overworking.
Oh,
So
nice. Yeah, yeah. So I'm very glad you did that. So I'll include the link as well in for the book in the description, and feel everyone go ahead, click on it, and go ahead, look it up and read it.
yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks, Siddharth. Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Main Street Minds. Want to share your journey with our audience? Head over to mainstreetmindspodcast.com/guest to apply.